It's time to play fake internet radio. On episode 738 of Into Your Head, join John the Baptist's head, the importance of seams in modern society, what happens in castles, how to rebrand horse meat, and lots more. I've always been a great believer in the dictum, pro formula for men, original dry 48 HR protection, alcohol free, fights white marks, scientifically developed for Tesco to give you extra confidence and a fresh sensation. It's absolutely fantastic. Let's have a go ahead now. There we go. Probably shouldn't spray it on the pop filter, as the pop filter will stop it getting through. It'll stop it, which is probably good because it's right in front of my face. You don't want deodorant spray getting through to your face. That's not what it's for. Deodorant is not for your face. For some reason, they never people decided, who would want to stop perspiration rolling down their face? Why would you want that? No, the only place you want to stop perspiration is under the places where nobody can see. The perspiration on your face, you're supposed to just let it flow. You can go in proudly to a job interview and say, yes, I'm well aware that there's sweat rolling down my face, but that sweat that the people who dermatologically test these formulas, they decided you're supposed to have sweat on your face. It's normal. It's okay. The only sweat you want to hide is I would imply that sweat is something to be proud of. If the only one you want to stop is the sweat that you can't see, that people can't see, except you can. You put on a white shirt and then they'll damn well see it, I can tell you. Unless, of course, your sweat is white. If your sweat is white, then you have a problem. Or have you? Well, maybe you don't consider it a problem. Or maybe I don't either. Never really thought about it, to be perfectly honest. But no, don't confuse. People tend to confuse sometimes clearness with whiteness. A clear liquid is not the same as a white liquid. A white liquid would be something like milk. Or in fact, not just something like milk. Milk itself doesn't need to be something like milk at all. It can be milk itself, or I suppose it can be something like milk as well. Could be soya, so-called milk, which isn't milk at all. It's some liquid that they get out of some plant, and they shove it into some bottle somewhere, and they say, you can't drink milk, but now you can pretend to drink milk. You can create the illusion in public that you drink milk by having this. It's just like with cats. You can create the illusion that a cat drinks milk by giving it cow's milk, which isn't for cats at all. You need to get incidentally, it's a product available in supermarkets here called cat milk. And if you go into certain shops, you get a sign up on the thing that says, please note, cat milk does not come from cats. That's where they make they put their trousers where the mast is and make it all very clear. It's refreshing, I suppose. Most manufacturers, they'll try to con you. They'd say, this is cat milk. It's cat milk. Don't ask any further questions. Here's a list of ingredients. It'll just be a list of chemicals. Don't ask where we get it from. It's cat milk, and that's all you need to know. It's bog standard cat milk. Milk for cats, or milk from cats. They're not both the same thing, but we like you to imagine they are. It's not misrepresentation if we don't say it out loud and we just let you imagine it. It's absolutely fucking fantastic. Anyway, hello and welcome to the show. Two cats walk into a supermarket. One of the cats goes straight up to the cat food aisle and says, hello, can I have a pint of your finest cat milk, please? And the man behind the shelf says, I don't work here, sir. And I imagine that if I did, I'd now be calling for help to get rid of this cat who seems to be in the shop. You can't have cats go around in a place that has food. You could be walking all over the uncovered vegetables and meat. Oh no, what if you get up on the salad counter and piss on it? What's going to happen then? There'll be consequences, I can tell you. That's what will happen then. It'll be just like when they put the horse meat into everything and didn't call it horse meat. They called it something else. They said this is horse beef. It's beef from horses, which I suppose is possible. All you'd have to do is rebrand it. If someone could get together and say, oh, we're redefining beef. Beef is a type of meat that can be found on many four-legged animals, not just cows. Why should it be restricted to cows? No, you can have horse beef, rabbit beef. You can probably have whatever the meat the horses is called from. You could probably have that from cows as well. So if is there a word for horse meat? There probably is. That's something like beef. You say this is horse meat, but it's from cows for a change, for people who don't like horse meat. It's all branding. That's what it is nowadays. And the cat says, well, I'm sorry to disturb you. I'm sorry that I've offended you by being a cat in the supermarket. Well, cats have to shop for groceries too, you know, sometimes. And we don't all have servants coming around. This isn't all Downton Abbey. I've been watching Downton Abbey, incidentally. I watched the first season of Downton Abbey last night. Most of you Americans seem to be under the impression that it's Downtown Abbey. You come on and say, oh, they're not downtown at all. There's a village nearby, but they're certainly not downtown. They're clearly out in the countryside in an abbey, wherever an abbey is. An abbey is a name. There's a name that people call Abbey. There's people walking the earth this very moment called Abbey, who've been named Abbey by their parents, except they usually spell it differently. I think they spell it ABI or something. They say that person is called Abbey, not to be confused with some abbey that's apparently an old mansion in England somewhere. You probably have abbeys in America as well. You just don't want to admit it. You like to say, we Americans, all of our buildings are less than 5 years old. We don't have history here. Unless you count all that stuff that happened in the last century and the second half of the century before that. But apparently that to you, that doesn't count as history. You think, Abraham Lincoln and the Civil War, that was pretty much just a few years ago. That's the present. That's not the past at all. That's not history. It's not history unless it happens in a castle, according to you people. Well, that's a load of bollocks. There's a castle in my town, and all that happens is that someone nails some pictures up every few months and has an exhibition of art, and then they put a pub next door, and every now and then they have I don't know what they do in there. They do something. It's not very costly, I can tell you. You can be damn sure that Christ is hell there isn't some king sitting in there on a throne. We don't even have starting soon, we're not going to even have our own town council. We have to share a municipal council with several other towns all over the county. So we don't get carried away thinking we've got kings over here. We do not. We have a president who sits up on his throne up in Dublin and does nothing except sign things and go to meet children. Not that there's anything wrong with signing things. Signing things is a very important part of a modern democracy, I'll have you know. These things have to be signed. The politicians write them and vote on them, and then they say to their president, you have to sign this unless you've some proper objection, in which case you have to call together your advisors and come up with a good excuse. You better have a damn good excuse, I can tell you, if you turn down anything that we bring to you to sign. Except especially if it's a law. Well, it's not a law till you sign it. That gives you too much power. There's such a thing as having too much power, you know. That's what they like to say to the president. And then he says, have that fella's head chopped off and brought to me on a plate, like in John the Baptist. I remember, I don't know if I mentioned this recently, when I was a child, I used to go to school. I know there's nothing new about that. So I used to go to school. We were taught religion. He said, here's your religion. You're going to learn this and you're going to believe it. And there was a children's Bible, and the part about John the Baptist had a picture of John the Baptist's head on the tray. Because someone said, give me John the Baptist's head on a tray. This involved pretty much ending his life. It's very hard to put someone's head on a tray and leave his body behind. I presume they left the body behind. It wasn't one of those tricks. It wasn't one of those magic tricks, or like the things they do in movies when you want to show a headless person. You put a bit of black curtain under the tray tray and their head isn't attached at all. It's just an illusion. No, they wouldn't have done that. Although maybe they did. I don't know. This was just a drawing anyway. It wasn't a photograph. It leads me to wonder. They didn't even have photographs of this fella's head being chopped off, but someone thought it necessary to create an image of it to put in their children's Bible. Absolutely fucking fantastic. Because we tell kids the truth over here. We don't hide behind Santa Claus and the Tooth Fairy and crap. We tell them the truth. We say this fella got himself nailed to a cross. His cousin got his head chopped off, John the Baptist, and all this stuff happened, and you're going to damn well hear about it. Then decide for yourself when you become old enough and confident enough to rebel. Anyway, on with the show. Now, I know what you're thinking there. You're thinking, what happened to the cat who was in the supermarket looking at the cat milk? How did that story pan out in the end? Well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I mean, well, maybe it matters to you, but it doesn't matter to me, and I happen to know that it doesn't matter to you. You just believe it matters to you because you haven't heard the rest of it. Well, no, it doesn't matter to you. You just we should take my word for it because I'm in control here. If you don't trust me to decide what matters to you and my own stories, then you might as well just feck off. If you don't trust me, you're getting half an hour of information fed to you from my mouth, and if you take me seriously enough to listen to that all the time, then you need to take me seriously and not be a bit more trusting. Put some blind faith in me, I suppose is what I'm saying. Anyway, no, the cat eventually found some cat milk in the cat food oil, and he said, oh, wait a minute, this says it's not from cats, it says it's from cows. Well, it doesn't say it's from cows, but I presume that's what they're getting at, because the world outside of cats thinks the whole world revolves around them. These humans, they think, we drink cow's milk, so if we say that something is not from cats and we don't stipulate what it is, it should be assumed that it's from cows, because cow's milk is what we consider normal standard milk. Strangely enough, no, normal standard milk to a human should be human milk. If you're having cow's milk, you should state that it's cow's milk. If you're having cat's milk, you should state that it's cat's milk. If you're having cow's milk that's designed for humans, you should label it cow milk for humans. And if you're having cow milk that you're designed to give to cats, you should say cow milk for cats. Although you're not supposed to give cow milk to cats. Cats are what you call it, lactose intolerant. You're not supposed to give, if you're one of these people who sees someone else's cat out in the street and you say, oh, here, putty, would you like a saucer of milk? And then you give them the milk. You're the bane of this society, because that cat drinks the milk, then 10 minutes later it runs home and has diarrhea on its owner's sofa. I think they're responsible for that, so a bit of fucking consideration. Don't interfere with other people's cats' diets, that's what I'm saying. Mind your own fucking business. It's not for you to, I wouldn't come round to your house and feed pizza to your child. Maybe I would if I was babysitting. I don't babysit. Maybe that's why, because I don't know how to deal with children. I don't know how they work. I don't want to know either. So if you don't know how to deal with cats, you stay away from cats, and I'll stay away from children, because I don't know how to deal with children. And we'll all just stay with what we're good at. I'm good at playing the harmonica. That's why I do this. I know what you're thinking there. You're thinking he's not good at playing the harmonica at all. He doesn't even play proper notes. He has no idea how it's designed to work. Well, I play it my own way. I improvise. I play all the right notes. They're just not notes that you came up with. As your man in that sketch somewhere used to say, he'd say, excuse me, I'm playing all the right notes, just not necessarily in the right order. Was it the two Ronnies? I don't know. There was something on English television anyway. Someone said, oh no, it was Morecambe and Wise. They said, I'm playing all the right notes, just not necessarily in the right order, so just fuck off. He didn't add that because this was the 1970s. You didn't swear on television in those days, especially not on a family orientated sketch show. No, you did not. If you did that, it was edited out presumably, or maybe you were sacked straight away in the program, never saw the the light of day. I don't know. You foreigners know all about that. Bono went on some awards ceremony once and he used a swear word because he's a grown-up. And he said, oh, this fella needs to be removed. They can't have swearing on the television. It'll corrupt the youngsters. They'll be going up to their drug dealers and saying, hello, can I have an ounce of fucking marijuana, please? Instead of just saying an ounce of marijuana, please. And the society will fall apart. It'll fall apart at the seams. I can tell you one place you don't want things falling apart at the seams, because that's what holds it together. The seams. If you see a seam on something, that's a sign that there's stitches there holding it together or something, or else it's just a fold. Sometimes it's not even. Sometimes seams can be misleading, Sometimes if you see a seam on an envelope, for example, there's no stitching there. That's just a piece of paper that's being folded in half. That fold is not an integral part of the structure of the envelope. It just forms the shape. There's nothing. So don't be putting too much importance on things just based on your assumptions, based on ignorance of the production process. I suppose that's what I'm trying to say. In fact, I did just say it. I successfully said it. That's another thing. Done and dusted. Absolutely fucking fantastic.
Into your head.
Remember, we value the opinions of you, the humble and ignorant listener. Email studio@intoyourhead.com.
studio@intoyourhead.com.
Matchstick Cats. Matchstick Cats. Matchstick Cats. Matchstick Cats and stuff.
Are you a cat? Or do you know somebody who might be? Then tell yourself about Matchstick Cats, Neal's webcomic. Brand new episodes at intoyourhead.com.
Intoyourhead.com.
Hello, this is J. Edgar Case here. Whenever I am listening to fine podcasts, I tune into the Into Your Head program because it's very clean.
Monkey nuts. That's what they call them. They call them big steaming, shit-eating, piss-piling, wedge driving, taxi driving. What else can you drive? You can drive lots of things. You can drive a golf ball into a hole, or you can drive it past a hole, but you're not supposed to. You're supposed to drive it straight into the hole in as few moves as possible. Well, as few moves as you're able to. Just because you're doing as few moves as you're able to, that doesn't mean you're doing as few moves as possible. Your abilities fall short of what's possible, because there's only so much you can achieve in this world. You're limited by your own abilities and your own potential, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Anyone who comes along and says, oh, you could be the president of the United States of America one day, you just have to keep your mind open. That's bollocks. You're not even a citizen of the United States. You have to be a citizen or something, don't you? I don't know. Maybe you don't. I don't know the details. I had a green card for a while once to go to America, but you don't see me in the White House. You do not. Although my wife was in the Oval Office once. She visited the Oval Office, but not as a president. Oh no, they didn't have women presidents in those days, and they still don't. Well, except in Ireland, we've had 2 women presidents, so we're ahead of you Americans. Although you've got a black fella now as president, so maybe you're ahead of us. Which is better, a black president or a woman president? Well, they're both just as good. You judge them on their own merits, not their identity. But which is more advanced? That's the thing. Who's done better? We've had 2 women presidents and you've had 1 black president and a fella in a wheelchair. So who's achieved the most in terms of moving forward? There's a question for you. Here's a question. If you got some debating society in your university, you should put that up as a debate. This is a topic of interest. Not trying to cause a controversy or anything. It's just an interesting debate to have. I assume it would be anyway. I've never had it. You can't really have debates on here because it's just me, and it gets a bit tiring trying to debate against yourself with stuff. Absolutely fucking ridiculous. Anyway, monkey nuts, as I say. That's what they call them. They call them monkey nuts. They should probably stop calling them monkey nuts and call them something else, because it doesn't really help help you. If I could say, monkey nuts, that's what they call them. And you say, that's what they call what? And I'll say, that's what they call monkey nuts. So they thought that was obvious. And you'll say, yes, but that doesn't tell me what monkey nuts are. And then you'll say, well, I'll say, well, what the hell is the point of naming anything then? If I can name something monkey nuts and say they call them monkey nuts, and it still leaves you going, well, what the hell are they? That doesn't tell me anything. I just told you what they are, and apparently that doesn't tell you anything. Just goes to show language is meaningless. It's as meaningless as the words. Well, I suppose it can't be any more meaningless than the words that it comes up with, such as, for example, elocution lessons. Elocution lessons is a couple of words. It's elocution. If I were to go up to you and say, how's my elocution? You'd say, how's your elocution what? And I'll say, how's my elocution doing? And you say, how's your elocution doing what? And I'll say, I suppose I should rephrase that. What's my elocution doing? What is it achieving? How much is it achieving? Is it getting me anywhere? And you say, well, we seem to be stuck on that question for the last 5 sentences, so I don't think it's getting you anywhere. You should probably just go back to mumbling like most normal people do. Most people mumble. Most people, they just go meh, 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 and they go or they go they don't even people don't open their mouths anymore to say yes. They go or or else they go which apparently is no. You're supposed to know from the grunts. That I suppose that's how language started in the first place. When we were cavemen and cave women, we didn't have these words. We used to just grunt at each other. I suppose it worked perfectly fine for generations, except it didn't. It worked so poorly that they stopped it and moved on to having a language, because they said this isn't adequate, except they weren't able to say this isn't adequate. They had to grunt at each other, and someone else would go someone would one day, someone who was ahead of the posse noticed that this grunting thing wasn't adequate. It wasn't going to do us into the future. He tried to bring it up, but all he was able to do was go and everybody else went and someone said what, and somebody else said, what the fuck is this fella talking about? And then the other fella went, he suddenly got hope for the future. He said, you just came up with a load of words. He said, what the fuck is this fella talking about? That's the first. And then eventually somehow we ended up here where we are today. Same place, same geographical place, but I can tell you we're in a different place in terms of other non-geographical measurements. We're in a different place now than we were in those days, and it's absolutely fucking fantastic. Once upon a time there was a dog. Basically a dog. I don't know how to put it any more simpler. I could probably just say how all the flourishes. Oh yes, let's just abandon all poetic flourishes when we're speaking and just grunt. Why don't we go back to that? Maybe there's some happy medium. Is there some happy medium? Or I could just say dog, but that sounds like a grunt to me. If it's a single syllable and it's just a grunt, that's all it sounds like. What's the deal? What's better, saying dog or just going which is better? If there's a question for you, you think you've got words there, but if it's just one syllable, it's not a word at all. It's just a sound. It's just a grunt. You're no better than the cavemen, so don't be getting up on your high horse. I suppose if it's a horse is a bit better. It's still one syllable, but it's got a bit of rolling R's in it, and it's got S's. It's better than dog. A dog isn't a word at all. It's just you might as well just belch a house. Say, what's that that you have there on your leash? And say, that's a and you say, they're great. I was always thinking of getting a myself. I prefer ats. And you'll say, what the hell is an at? And you say, sorry, I meant cat. I left out the sound cat. The sound C. It doesn't add an extra syllable to it, but it makes all the difference. The big difference. You like to claim that cat and at are just both the same sort of word, that they're both one syllable, but the C makes all the difference. There's no extra syllables on it, I can tell you. makes the world of difference. If you got a cat and you got an at, they're not, I can tell you, they're not both the same thing. Try mating those two things, I can tell you, nothing will happen. Nothing will happen. I suppose you probably wouldn't try that. Why? How would you try to mate cat with at? You wouldn't. But you can mate the word. Ironically, you can mate the words. You can't mate a cat with an at, because an at isn't a thing, but you can mate the word cat with the word at, and you get, you just get cat, I suppose, because the at goes over the existing at sound that's in the cat, unless you put the at word mated to the beginning of the word cat, and then it's a at or something, or at cat, or is at cat a word? There's a question for you. Oh, it's a question for me. I'll look her up here. Oh, there's an email from Lidl. Weekly specials from Thursday the 16th of January. Healthy at home and everyday fashion! Exclamation mark. Are they taking the piss? There's some polar specials. Dizzy, apple, carrot, peach. Some sort of a drink. That's what they put in the. That's what the young people have now when they try to be healthy. They get a drink that's made up of fruit and vegetables, and then they say, I don't have to eat any fruit and vegetables. I have it in a bottle here. They're merging. That's the new craze now. You get these. So government decided you have to have 5 a day, and they get these bottles and they say, this is 2 of your 5 a day. It's got apples in it and it's got carrots. Tastes like puke, but everything's going to taste like puke eventually once it goes through your system, so don't be put off by that. This is saving you the trouble of having to worry about your 5 a day towards the end of the day, because if you get to 7 o'clock in the evening and you've only had half of 1 of your 5 a day, then you have to cobble together the other 4.5 in one meal, and then you're probably going to get diarrhea. You're going to get diarrhea, just like everything else. It's just like eating vegetables and carrots and fruit is just like everything else. That's what it is. I presume it is anyway, because people say that about everything. If you bring something up, people like to say, it's just like anything. It's just like anything. Video, amazing footage of a massive wave in Bray, Ireland. I used to live there. Let's have a look at this. I think this might be a spoof, because this is an Irish Onion type thing. There it is. It's what's going on here? I don't want to be watching videos while I'm doing my podcast, but I'll do it anyway. Let's see. Oh Christ. Somebody's hand waving at the camera in front of the seafront. Fucking hell. Jesus Christ. Stop trying to imitate the Onion. Such a thing as the Onion has already done the Onion, so if you're doing another Onion, you're calling it the parsnip or something, then you're just being derivative. You're being derivative. So fuck off out with that. Anyway, good morning.
Into your head.